So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce for the first time ever the second time recipient of the Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award, Jimmy Franklin. I do remember the luncheon really well in my memory of 1986, I believe, when we gave this award away at the luncheon. And I remember Jimmy Franklin, we all know, is just Mr. Subtle, Mr. Humble Pie, and you said, am I going to embarrass you? He said, and I really deserve this. Do you remember that? And I remember that so well because it's true.
This is for the benefit of people who were here 13 years ago. If that's not a control stick, I'm in trouble. Well, most of you that know me probably figure this is going to be a very short speech or a very long one. So, as a matter of fact, I did prepare a few pages for this. So, yeah. What? I don't. What? I wonder where that come from. What? Oh. Hey. It doesn't work that way, Danny. I haven't lost any of these yet, you know. But the black one. Yeah. I actually do have a speech here somewhere. Yeah, but this one's even got an autograph on it. You know, that's nice. Where did it? Oh, here it is. Hey, yeah. And why anyone would give a microphone to an airshow pilot and tell him to talk on our favorite party night is beyond me. You know, it does not make any sense. Also, I recall Bill Barber received the Wilkerson Sword Award that same day 13 years ago. And many of you were saying, I never saw Bill Barber talk so little and Jimmy Franklin talk so much. So. And it seems like I was at that podium for quite a while. In fact, I believe I told my entire life story of flying experiences from the time I was in diapers, you know, because that's about when I started, according to my dad. Well, shoot, I got 13 years to add to that now, so you know, it started about 1980, and I went to a movie called Star Wars. And I was so impressed with the movie, along with everyone else in that theater, that I decided it would be a really smart idea to design an airshow act to go along that line of thinking. And I was still just trying to figure out how to make some money in this business, and I thought, well, maybe this could be it. You know? So Tsar from the planet Zufrenia, and Tsar's trusty rocket ship, the Starship Pride, was born, at least in my mind. And but it wasn't easy. I asked several knowledgeable people about this idea, and no one gave me any positive feedback about Tsar. And in the meantime, I had put together a storyline and a trial costume for Tsar, and decided to put on a mini style show for my 2-year-old son, Kyle. Well, they loved Tsar, him and his friends, and the decision to go with Tsar and spend the money, lots of it, was made. The biggest concern was what aircraft to use or to build for Tsar's rocket ship. And I decided the cheapest way to do it would be to go with one of the WACOs, since I already had 3 of those. So, now, how do you make Tsar's rocket ship out of a 1936 design biplane? Yeah, maybe clip the wings, kind of like bat wing tail and gun platform, exotic eye struts and some paint. You can do that like that, but how do you really make them believe that this craft could shoot up to outer space and fight the evil dictator's forces? You know, it's got to be believable, especially for the children. So, and the thought hit me: put a jet engine pod on the belly of the WACO. This, that'll be great. Got all that power I've been looking for all this time, you know. So I started searching for a suitable jet engine and some technical advice on how to make it work. Talked to several knowledgeable people in design, and then it's another dead end. And the comments like, "Oh, Jimmy, I don't think I would do that if I were you." I'm thinking, you know, how hard could this possibly be, for crying out loud? You know, so it seemed perfectly reasonable to me. Well, I always wanted a twin-engine Aerostar, and it already looked a lot like a rocket ship, so the rest of Czar's story is history, you know. But somewhere along the line, mid-'80s, some along there, this crazy guy with a Peterbilt truck with 3 jet engines on it began to show up at some of the air shows. Not 1, not 2, but 3 jet engines. Big engines, afterburners, all that stuff. And I'm wondering, how stupid could you be? And, you know, but I could tell right away that I was really going to like this guy. And I did learn to like and to love Les Shockley and his lovely wife, Donna. Well, everything was going really great until February 1998, and I discovered I had a bad valve in my heart. So I had 26 shows booked and a Jet WACO to test fly, and all of a sudden I'm grounded until further notice. And you talk about panic-stricken. It nearly gave me a heart attack. After 30 straight seasons, I'm wondering, well, is this the way it's going to end? I knew a Dr. Vetch, Dr. Ray Vetch. Yeah. Flies air shows in a Sukhoi. Didn't know what kind of a doctor he was, but anyway, I called Ray, and Ray tells me I need the Ross procedure. And he says if I work really hard, I could be flying in less than 6 months. Right now, I'd like to inject one thought, and if you're not a donor, you know, like on your license there, please consider that. November the 12th, 98, I received my first class medical and crossed that hurdle. Well, back to the Jet WACO. The next few days we spent fine-tuning the systems on the jet, and Les tied the airframe down. It didn't have any wings on it or any tail, basically just the airframe sitting there. And he tied it to a chain that's buried in the ground and said, well, that ought to hold it. And he tells me to get in and start the prop engine and run it up really good, and that'll keep the cool air coming back around the belly so it don't burn off the fabric on the belly. Okay. Then Les gets up on this step ladder and inside the cockpit to show me how to start the jet, because I'm not a jet jock. Wasn't then anyway. Yeah, well, it's a nice cool start, and it's idling about 55%. Les gets down to check for leaks. And he gets back up there and he runs it up to about 85%. And that's still only about 1,000 pounds of thrust. And now I'm getting plenty excited about this jet deal. And it's really noisy, and I can feel it just really tugging hard at that tie down. And that Les said, ought to hold it. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? Ought to hold it. You know? And then he yells, okay, You go ahead and run it up to 100%. Well, that's going to be 3,000 pounds of thrust on top of what the prop's doing. And this probably wouldn't have bothered me so much, but Les had told me about a story of a friend that's running up a jet dragster and is tied down doing some tuning on it, and it got away. Remember that? Anyway, I'm looking at Les, and he's stepping back a few paces.
Hey, you're on your own, buddy.
And I'm looking at those big oak trees he's got all over his yard out there, right up in front of the WACO. And I yelled, "Are you sure that tie down will hold?" So anyway, I did. Now I'll guarantee you by now, my fresh vetch overhauled heart was working overtime. I'm now recalling comments like, "You got any Nomex underwear yet?" And, Jimmy, I don't know if I'd do that if I were you. And then there's Bobby yonking, "You're gonna burn the tail off that thing. And besides that, you're sure going a lot of trouble just to outclimb Samson." Well, I think it's worth it. And I'm wondering, well, maybe they were right. This is going to be fun. I just got a good feeling about it. I never dreamed they would take a truck driver to make that happen. So we take it to the airport and put it together, and all of a sudden I realized there's nothing left to do but go fly this beast. And, well, I can't even tell you what a thrill that flight was. But I know when that jet spooled up, my eyes were as big as saucers. And my smile from ear to ear. And my heart shifted into overdrive, and away we go. So, and it couldn't have gone better. It flew straight as an arrow, and it had the power of a cannonball. That flight was the highlight of my aviation career. Unless it's right here at this moment, right now. But, yeah, I'd like to thank my mom and sis for always being there. And I thank every single one of you for all your cards, your words of encouragement, and visits last year when I needed them so much. All of you made this happen for me. And it was a truly humbling experience last year when I realized how many friends I have. And Kyle, my son. Normally I only let Kyle out on the weekends, but he's been so good that I just let him out all this week. But, you know, the Jet WACO was supposed to be a solo act, and on one of my practice flights, Kyle comes running up and jumps on the wing and said, "Let's go!" So now we got another wing walking act. That's hard to get away from. Anyway, thank you, Kyle, for sticking with me. I know it hadn't been easy sometimes. And Judy Scholl.
I didn't do anything on that one. And these aren't mine. They're too big.
Your friendship has been truly an honor.
Well, goes both ways.
And Art Scholl, top this! Yes, yes, yes! I love you all. Thank you very much.
Where the world is brought down to your knees.